Hi everyone, it's Moochie and welcome to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make your own plushie cake decorating kit, which includes a cake and then also an adorable little piping bag. I'm just like in love with how adorable these little piping bags are. But anyways, each cake is comprised of 2 cake layers, 2 icing layers, 3 icing dollops, and then a topping. I put a different topping on each of the cakes, so there is a strawberry on the vanilla cake, a rolled cookie on the chocolate cake, and an ice cream cone on the strawberry cake. You can either attach all of the cake pieces by gluing or sewing them together, or you can keep the pieces separate. Also, I didn't try this out, but if you want, you can also try using something like Velcro to hold the pieces together. I would think by using something like Velcro, the pieces would hold together when attached, but then you can also still separate the pieces if you want. Like I said, I didn't try using Velcro, but I wanted to put it out there just in case anyone wanted to try it out. And then as always, the template can be found down in the description box below. It is completely free and is available on my Google Blogger page, so you can go print out the template and use it to cut out the pieces you'll need to make the plush. So with all that being said, let's get into this tutorial. For this tutorial, I'm only going to be showing how to make the vanilla cake, but you can make the chocolate and the strawberry cake the exact same way. You'll just use a different colored material. And then I'm also going to show you how to make the little strawberry, the little rolled cookie for the chocolate cake, and then the little ice cream cone for the strawberry cake. The first thing I'm going to show you guys how to make is this little cake slice piece right here, and this is what it looks like. And to make this, you're going to need to cut out 2 circles and then also 1 long strip. Then what you're going to do is place this piece right here, and then you're going to use the back stitch and sew this strip all the way around the perimeter of this circle. Next, you're going to have to thread and knot your needle with some thread that matches the same color as the material that you're using. So I threaded and knotted my needle with some antique white colored thread because that is the color of the material. And if you don't know how to thread and knot your needle, no worries, I actually have a video for that, so you can go check it out. I'll link it somewhere on the screen, so go click on that and you can learn how to do it. Once your needle is threaded and knotted, you can then use the back stitch to sew these 2 pieces together. And just in case if you don't know how to use the back stitch, I'm going to quickly show you how to do that. So you'll take your needle and you'll make 1 stitch just like this and pull all the way. Then you'll come back right over here. Again, pull all the way. And then instead of making a stitch forwards, you're going to make your stitch backwards. So go back where you made that first stitch and then pull all the way. And then there you go. So you're just going to keep repeating that same process. So make another stitch over here, pull, oops, got a little caught. There we go. And then again, go backwards. And then to show you guys that one more time, make a stitch over here, pull, and then go backwards. At this point, you're going to see that there's some excess material right here, so you can just take some scissors and cut that off. Just like that. Then use the back stitch again to sew right along here to attach this piece and this piece together. Next, you're going to take that other circle and you're just going to place it right up here. And then you're going to use the back stitch again and you're just going to sew around to about maybe here. And you're going to want to leave an opening so you can turn the plush inside out and then fill it up with stuffing. At this point, this is what the plush should look like. And now what you're going to do is close this opening right here using the ladder stitch. So to do the ladder stitch, what you're going to do is make a stitch like this, pull all the way, and then make a stitch like this, and then pull all the way. And then you'll just keep doing that all the way to the end. So when I use the ladder stitch like this, I usually like to take something like a wooden dowel or a pencil and use that to push the material in. And I find that just helps hide the stitches more. So now that the plush is complete, you're just going to make a few knots to knot the thread. And then you're going to put your needle through the plush, come up over here, pull, and then you can take your scissors and cut the thread. After you make one of the cake layer pieces, you're going to have to make another one so that you have two. And then after you do that, you can put these over to the side. And now we're going to move on to the icing layer, which is this piece right here. And this piece is super, super, super easy, probably the easiest part of this entire plushie. So to make this piece, what you're going to do is take two circles, and then you're going to put them on top of each other, and you're just going to sew all the way around using the blanket stitch. I'm using the blue thread because when I was sewing with the white thread, I saw it was super difficult to see on the camera, and it wasn't very helpful to teach you guys how to do the stitch if you could barely see it. So I was like, okay, let me just refilm this with a different color thread. So I picked this dark bluish color just so it really sticks out and you can really see the stitches. To do the blanket stitch, the first thing you're going to do is pull back this front piece and then make a stitch just like this. Then you're going to put this back over to hide that knot. And then the next stitch you make is going to go through both pieces of material, and it's going to come right back through where you made that first stitch. Pull, but before pulling all the way, go through that loop right here, and then pull. And then there you go. And then to do the next stitch, you're going to take your sewing needle and make a stitch like this, go through the loop again, and then pull all the way. And then you're just going to keep doing that all the way around. So to show you that one more time, you'll make a stitch, go through the loop, and then pull. This is what the piece will look like when it's all done. And the key to the blanket stitch is to try your best to make the distance between each stitch the same, and then to also make the length of each stitch the same. So this is what the icing piece should look like when you sew it together with some thread that matches the same color as the material. And then just like the cake layer pieces, you're going to make two of these. So make one and then make another one. Now that the two cake layers and also the two icing layers are complete, you can move on to the icing dollop. And to make that, you're going to use this piece right here. The first thing you're going to do is take your sewing needle and make a stitch just like this. And then your next stitch is going to be right around here. Pull. And then make a stitch over here. Pull. Make a stitch over here. Pull. And then you're just going to keep doing that all the way around. And then once you get to this point, you're going to take some stuffing and just mush it up into a ball and place it right in the center, and then pull real tight so that it forms the dollop. And then you're going to take your needle and you'll make a stitch right down the center to the back, and then pull. And then pull it real tight, and then make your knot on the back. And then you're going to want to make 3 icing dollops just like that. Now I'm going to show you guys how to make the little toppings for the cakes. So I have this little strawberry, this little cookie, and this little ice cream cone. I'm going to show you how to make the strawberry first, and to make it you're going to need to cut out these 2 red pieces and these 2 green pieces. Then you're going to take one of these red pieces and you're going to thread and knot your needle with some white embroidery thread, and you're going to use that to stitch 2 lines and then 3 lines just to add a little more detail onto the strawberry. Then you're going to take the other red piece and you're going to place the 2 pieces on top of each other, just like this. And then you're going to thread and knot your needle with some red thread, and you're going to sew all the way around using the blanket stitch. And before you sew it completely shut, remember to fill it up with some stuffing. And then the last step to finishing your little strawberry is to take one of those green pieces and you're going to glue it right here. And then you're going to take the other green piece and you're going to glue it right here. And just letting you guys know, I use tacky glue to glue on the green pieces onto the strawberry. You most certainly don't need to use tacky glue if you don't want. You can use any type of fabric glue that you would like. I just wanted to let you know in case you would like to use the same type of glue that I used. Now I'm going to show you how to make this cookie, and you're only going to need to cut out one piece, which is this tan square right here. What you're going to do is roll this piece, and then you're also going to use some brown and white thread to wrap it around the piece to add some decoration. This is the cookie when it's complete, and on this one that I had just made, I used white embroidery thread and then like a normal dark brown thread, and this is how it turned out. On the old one that I had made, I had used just like normal white thread and normal dark brown thread. I didn't use any embroidery thread, so these are how the two came out, and you can, use any type of thread that you want on the one that you make. And then for the little ice cream cone, I actually have a separate video for this plushie, so I will link it somewhere on the screen for you to go check out. And the only difference is in that video, I had added on glitter glue onto the ice cream cone and then a ribbon and bow up on top. But for this little ice cream cone right here, I didn't add those extra accessories on. Like I said in the beginning of this video, if you would like to keep all the pieces separate like this, you most certainly can. Or if you would like to attach all the pieces together, you can either sew them all together or glue them all together. If you would like to glue the pieces together, you can use either hot glue or fabric glue and just simply glue all the pieces together. And then if you would like to sew all the pieces together, I'm going to quickly show you how to do that. So I just threaded a knot in my needle with some blue thread so it's easier to see the stitches like I've been doing in this video. But when you make your cake plushie, be sure to use a color thread that will match the plush just so you won't see the thread as easily. But anyways, the first step is to place one of the icing layers, one of the cake layers, and then another icing layer all on top of each other just like this. And then you're going to make a stitch going through all of those pieces. Pull all the way. Take one of those dollops, make a stitch like this, pull, and then make another stitch like this and pull. And then by doing that, you have attached one of the dollops onto the cake, and then do the exact same thing to attach the other two dollops right here and right here. And now that the little cream dollops are all attached onto the cake, you can then attach the little strawberry right up here, doing the exact same thing. So just take your sewing needle, go up like this, make a stitch through the strawberry, pull, and then make a stitch back through the cake. And then pull all the way. And then the last piece that needs to be sewn on is that other cake layer piece right here. So just place it right there, and then you're going to use the ladder stitch to sew this piece onto this icing piece right here. The last thing I'm going to be showing you guys how to make in this video is this adorable little frosting piping bag. This is probably my favorite plushie in this video. It's just so cute. But anyways, to make this, you're only going to need to cut out 3 pieces, and that will include this piece right here, which will be the color of the frosting of your cake, this little piece right here, which will be gray, and then this tiny little circle, which will also be the color of the frosting. First, you're going to take these 2 pieces and then you're going to sew them together using the back stitch right along here. And then you're also going to want to thread and knot your needle with some thread that matches the same color as the frosting. Again, I'm going to be using blue thread to sew together the piping bag just so it's easier to see all the stitches. After sewing these 2 pieces together using the back stitch right here, next you're going to take this piece and you're going to fold it in half like this, and then you're going to use the back stitch again and you're just going to sew all the way across here. Now that the piping bag is sewn together, you're going to turn this inside out. And then you're going to want to fill up the piping bag with some stuffing, but you're not going to want to fill it up all the way. You're probably only going to fill it up about halfway. At this point, now that the piping bag is filled with stuffing, you're going to take some ribbon, which I'm going to use some ribbon that matches the same color as the frosting. And I'm just going to use that ribbon to bunch up the material up here and knot it to keep it in place. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of fabric glue to both ends of the ribbon just so that the ribbon won't start fraying. The last thing to add onto your little piping bag is that little circle, and you're just going to use some fabric glue and glue it right onto the tip of the piping bag just to make it look like some frosting is coming out of the bag. So this is what the plushies will look like when you're all done, the little piping bag and then the little cake when it's all sewn together. Or like I said before, you can keep all the cake pieces separately. You most certainly don't need to sew them together if you don't want. That is completely up to you. And then you can also try making the chocolate cake and the strawberry cake. Honestly, you can use any color material you want to make any kind of cake you want. So if you wanted to try and make a carrot cake or a black forest cake or any kind of cake you want, be creative and have fun with it. So that's it for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I have many, many, many other plushie tutorials just like this one on my channel, so be sure to go check them out. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.